praise comes this week from Whitbury Newtown, from the building which one man at least would argue is the real heart of the community, the Leisure Centre, newly rebuilt after the tragic fire which destroyed it last summer.
And where do you think you're going?
Well, Oliver.
What? I'm afraid you can't. Not these toilets. You're here to sing hymns, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, well, in that case, you use the facilities that have been arranged for you. You go through the gymnasium, across the car park, and you'll find some toilets just on the far side of the rugby field, all right?
Hello, can you hear that?
Yes, right.
Oh, Mr. Brittas.
Sorry about the delay, Pamela. May I take this opportunity of extending a very warm welcome to our leisure centre. If there's anything I can do to help the day go more smoothly, you only have to say.
Well, thank you. Actually, we were rather hoping to be started by now, but nobody seems to be allowed in.
No.
We do have to practice singing the hymn.
Yes, of course, Pam. And the door shall be open just as soon as I have staff available to marshal people's behaviour.
Ah, these two gentlemen have very kindly volunteered.
Unfortunately, I've got to take them away. Special staff meeting, you see.
A staff meeting. What about our interview?
Looking forward to it enormously, Pam. Can we put it on a 20-minute hold, though? Tim, go this way. Pat, could you make sure your people don't use the toilets? We've just had the centre rebuilt. We're a bit concerned about vandalism, all right?
Hello, Carol. Hello, Laura. Isn't it wonderful to be back? Everything's so new and shiny.
Yes. Children don't mind.
What?
Moving back into drawers.
No, I think they're looking forward to it. Which reminds me, I ought to unpack them, oughtn't I?
They're in one of these.
I've packed them separately this time, Laura. We've had a few squabbles recently, I'm afraid. Well, they should be the ones with the air holes.
Like this.
Oh, well done, thank you. This is Ben.
And these must be the twins.
Which?
The one marked cat food. And, oh, no, this one's a microwave.
There you go, Ben.
Morning, everybody. All set for the big day.
Helen, I didn't think you were coming.
Oh, not the service, no, but I'm being interviewed. Well, at least Gordon is, but I have to be there too. We're a team.
I thought you always avoided things like this.
Ta-da! Today I can do anything.
Good. What are they?
No idea. Got them from Jonathan's chemistry teacher. He sells them outside the school gates. I suppose he's raising money for school funds or something. I think they're meant to give you a bit of a sort of lift. Actually, they give you a buzz like sticking 2 fingers in the main socket. Best 20 quid ever spent.
Well, they seem to be working.
They do, don't they? Only trouble is, they only last for about half an hour. After that, you fall asleep. So as long as Gordon's not late.
We can always hope.
Is that Mr. Brittas's book?
Yes, he seems to think Pam Rhodes might like a signed copy.
I only read the bits they serialised in the paper, but I found them most uplifting.
Did you? You didn't like it? It was probably my mood, but I couldn't sort of get into it, you know.
Oh, he's led such an interesting life, hasn't he? Fires, drownings, explosions. No, I can't think of anyone else who's done all the things he has.
I don't think any of us can.
I'm all in favour of helping them, Gavin, but let's do it in an orderly fashion, shall we? Staff room, everyone. Got a lot to organise.
Gordon, what about our interview?
Looking forward to it enormously, my darling. Rather urgent staff briefing first. Laura, 2 minutes?
Carol?
Yes, Miss Brittas.
Could I have a glass of water?
Yes, Miss Brittas.
So, our problem is that shortly we will have some 800 people rehearsing hymns in our gymnasium, all of whom will want to use the resources of this leisure centre. And our job is to make sure they don't.
I'm sorry I'm late, Mr. Brittas.
All right, Colin.
I've had a bit of trouble with this new medication I'm taking for tension and stress.
Colin.
Basically, it's a muscle relaxant, you see, but unfortunately, it has tended to relax muscles that in an ideal world shouldn't relax at all. You see what I mean?
We've got an awful lot to get through.
Right-o, Mr. Brittas.
Right, now, the most important thing is to contain the public in this area here, which is sealed off by the corridors marked in red. Now, just in case anyone breaks through, I want roving patrols in the areas marked in yellow, and then... What is it, Gavin?
It's just a thought, Mr. Brittas, but if 800 people really want to use the centre, why don't we let them?
What, allow them into the centre?
Yes. I mean, we could make a lot of money, especially in the canteen.
Tell him someone, please. Laura?
Oh, Mr. Brittas is worried about the pigeonholes, Gavin.
We're talking about public safety, Gavin. We cannot allow the public into the centre until our communication system is in full working order.
We could take away the toilet paper, Mr. Brittas.
Pardon?
That way, if anyone broke through the patrols and tried to use a toilet, they'd get a real surprise.
If I may say so, Mr. Brittas, some of us would find
Nobody is taking anything away, Linda. This is songs of praise. We're not conducting a war. We want people to feel welcome, all right? Over to you, Laura.
OK. The actual recording starts tonight at 6 o'clock.
That's 1,800 hours.
Yeah, right. But Mr. Brittas wants us all on our seats an hour and a half earlier for a fingernail and underwear inspection.
Did I say that?
No, I think I made that one up. Right, now we will all be sitting here, and the seats marked in green.
So does that mean we're on the front row?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, great.
Give me the card, please, Timothy. You know what I'm talking about. May I just remind you all that we are representing the entire leisure industry on a premiere national television broadcast. We want people to switch on and say, what a fine bunch of people they are. Athletic, dignified, attractive.
I'm sorry, I can't seem to see my name in the front row, Mr.
No, unfortunately, Carol, we ran out of seats. You and Colin will be sitting there.
That's outside, is it?
Yes, Colin, we'll leave the doors open so you'll be able to hear most of what goes on, all right? Laura, if you'd like to give out the badges, please. Now, I'd ask you to wear these in a prominent position so that if you are on shot, as they say in TV land, Is that what I think it is, Carol?
I'm sorry, Mr. Brittas.
Take it out, please.
She can't seem to settle in her new drawer. It could be the smell of the new paintwork, I think.
Outside, Carol, please.
Yes, Mr. Brittas.
I don't think the BBC will allow us to wear these. Not before the watershed.
It's just a harmless bit of advertising for Whitbury, Julie.
Oh, it's Whitbury, is it?
What?
It's the printers, I'm afraid, Mr. Brittas. They've put an S instead of the W.
Life isn't perfect for any of us, so if you can just bend your knees and... There's a good girl. Oh, Councillor Druggett, welcome to Whitbury Newtown Leisure Centre. And how may I help you?
Is it my imagination, or are the doors all locked?
Yes, they are. It's such a shame. We so wanted to be open by today.
I think after being closed for a season and spending £3.5 million, most of us were. Is there any particular reason this time?
I'm afraid it's the pigeonholes. Apparently they are not working properly.
Yes, could I see Mr. Brittas?
I'm afraid he's very busy organising songs of praise at the moment, but I'm sure he'll have time to explain it to you.
Communication, Jack, is the basis of my management style. If my staff don't know what they're doing...
Oh, quite.
So, let's imagine I've just issued a detailed warning to them about what to do in the event of, say, an acid spillage in the pool pump area.
Yes?
This is what happens.
What? What happens?
The fault is intermittent, Jack, but if you wait, you'll see what I mean.
While we're waiting, Gordon, I wonder if I could ask you why you've cancelled the army.
The army?
600 men from the parachute regiment wanting to pay to use this place for fitness training while their new barracks is built. I gather you said no.
I had no choice, Jack.
No choice?
Jack, I'm as loyal a supporter of the armed forces as any man. A more upstanding group of Her Majesty's servants you couldn't ask for. But, as I said to the Colonel, to your average Joe tabloid squash court, the army is sadly perceived as a bunch of drunken squaddies marauding the streets.
You said that.
I did. I said, Colonel, if we let your men in here, we lose the families. We lose the ordinary, decent people who won't feel comfortable bringing their wives and daughters. There we are, Jack. On safety grounds alone, I cannot allow the centre to be open until the builders have rectified this fault. Monday week, they say.
I'll set you in the weights room, Mr. Brittas.
Right, Laura. Jack, if you'll excuse me, I have to go for an interview on nationwide television. Laura, perhaps the council would like a cup of coffee?
Sure.
Thank you.
20p, please, Jack, if you need it.
I'm glad to see you two have made it up.
It was my fault entirely, Laura.
Hardly.
No. Next time he shouts, "Oi, you," I shan't waste any time thinking what's he on about now. I shall simply step back before the scaffolding pole lands on my foot.
Has he shown you the pigeonholes?
Yes. He has to go, Laura.
You're not going to try and fire him again, are you?
No, the Sun's Get Behind Gordon campaign knocked that one on the head.
Well, he's not going to leave any other way.
No.
Managing this centre is all he's ever wanted. Milk? It's his dream.
Unless we give him a bigger dream.
Is that possible?
I only heard about it last week. What do you think?
Golly.
I'm here in the weights room of Whitbury New Town Leisure Centre with the manager, Gordon Brittas. Now, he tells me that there's nothing that he and his wife Helen enjoy more than coming down here and working out together.
Not at all, Pam.
Now, Gordon, you came to national attention last year when your centre blew up and you rescued 3 small children.
He got a medal.
And you've written a book about your experiences.
I believe.
The profits of which are to go to the charity that you started, Leisure in the Third World.
Yes, indeed, Pam. There are parts of our lovely planet that have never even seen a vaulting horse, and my plan...
You're sending baton twirlers to Mozambique. A whole crew flew out from Stansted on Thursday.
Mrs. Brittas, would you mind if I just spoke to your husband first and we'll come and talk to you later?
Sorry. So sorry.
We'll go from the second paragraph. Now, Gordon, you came to national attention last year when your...
Sorry, Pella. Sorry. Paracetamol. Be all right in a minute.
OK? We'll go again. Now, this book that you've written, you're going to give all of the proceeds to the charity
Thank goodness I've found you, Mr. Brittas. There's been a terrible accident.
I'm busy, Colin.
And I'm not even sure it was an accident.
It seemed the perfect job for him.
European Commissioner for Leisure.
Brussels, Laura.
Yes.
A pointless bureaucracy spending vast amounts of public money. It's all the things he's good at.
And it's a long way from Whitbury.
Exactly. Obviously, it needs to be presented in a very careful way.
If he thinks you're presenting it at all, you've blown it. He's not going to be interested in anything he hasn't thought of himself.
You understand him so well, Laura. Which is why I wondered... Well, nothing direct, you understand. Just a casual mention that you've seen something interesting in the paper.
I'm afraid not.
No?
I'm sorry, Jack. It's just... Look, Mr. Brittas doesn't have a great many friends. And if one of the 2 he has starts going behind his back playing politics, I don't know, it just feels wrong somehow.
Yes, well, I'll just have to do the best I can.
I'm sorry.
No. No, that's fine, if you think you can live with it.
What?
Friendship and loyalty are all very well, Laura, but when the bodies start piling up again, and they will, sooner or later, I think I'd like to know that I've done everything I could to prevent it.
There's an awful lot about Laura in here. Fortunately, my quick-thinking assistant, Laura, without the ever-resourceful Laura...
She gets 3 whole columns in the index.
Really? What's it say about me?
Oh, let's have a look. Whistler, Tim, page 43.
That's it, one mention.
It's that bit when he says what he thought when he first met us. Yeah. And finally, there was Tim.
Well, that's one little mystery unravelled.
What?
I've solved the riddle of the pigeonholes. Come and see. It suddenly came to me when I was putting up that "This is a frown-free zone" notice. Bear with me. Julie, give me a few seconds, all right? Watch. Good day. Goodness.
What did she do?
Well, it had to be some sort of vibration, like a door slamming, and I suddenly thought to myself, what door gets slammed more often than any other in this centre?
Brittas' office.
which happens to be directly above that wall.
Did it work?
Perfect. What we do about it, I'm not sure.
Perhaps if we wedge Mr. Brittas' door open.
Or nailed it permanently closed.
Well, I'll go and tell him about it anyway. Who knows, with an architect, a structural surveyor and a dozen or so carpenters, we could be open by the weekend.
Laura, come quickly. There's been another accident.
On the other hand...
How can anyone do a thing like that?
Maybe it was appearing on TV, Mr. Brittas.
What?
Well, it can make some people very nervous.
Well, I think it was a grudge.
What are you burbling about, Gavin?
Well, we used to have a boy at school who used to do that sort of thing, Mr. Brittas. If he didn't like you, he'd open up your desk and...
We're talking about the congregation of songs of praise, Gavin. Now, I think the most helpful thing anyone can do is get this lot cleared up. You'll need a shovel, Colin.
Will call, Mr. Brittas.
Gordon, what the hell is going on?
Careful where you tread, my darling.
We're supposed to be downstairs doing our interview.
Apologies, my love. Unfortunately...
At this rate, I'm going to need another pill, and he said if you take more than 3 in a row...
There's another load down here, Mr. Brittas.
What?
Just round the corner. It appears to be pretty fresh.
Gordon, if this interview doesn't happen within the hour...
Right, I'm coming right away, my darling. Gavin, get a bucket. Any other problems come up, I do not want to know.
Hey, you've got a bishop unconscious in the sauna now. Tall chap, pointy hat, big lump on the back of his head.
What is going on around here?
Well, I'm wondering if we haven't got another serial killer.
All right, I'll deal with it. Follow me.
Gordon! Gordon!
Ah, Mrs. Brittas. I was wondering if now might be a good time to talk to your husband.
Well...
Only he's not in his office.
No. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just have to go and do something. Sorry.
Good grief, what's that?
Oh, I don't know. They thought it might be a serial killer or something. I'm sorry, I'm really going to have to get... he'll be back in a minute. I'll ask him.
Please, everyone, sit down. Disperse, sit down, please. Right, now, just to keep you informed, the good news is that Bishop Tom has regained consciousness. Though not, unfortunately, his speech.
Do we know who attacked him?
We don't know that anyone attacked him, Carol.
Well, something hit him on the head.
He fell off the viewing platform, Judy. He's bound to have the odd bruise.
What about Councillor Druggett?
I'm coming to that.
What happened to Councillor Druggett?
He's been knifed all down his chest.
There was blood everywhere!
Please! We do not know that he's been knifed. It's much more likely he tripped on the carpet and fell on his keys.
But that's 3 attacks in 2 hours.
I think we should clear the building, Mr. Brittas.
Laura, have you any idea how long it takes songs of praise to come to a place like this? I refuse to clear the building until we know it's more than just a coincidence. However, just in case there is someone of an antagonistic disposition, I am prepared to organise a search.
Oh, I see. He's going to split us up and let whoever it is pick us off one by one.
Why don't we call the police?
The police have been informed, Laura.
And what did they say?
I said there was a possibility, and I emphasised the fact it was just a possibility that there may well be a serial killer in the centre. And Sergeant Fairburn said he'd pop round on his way home this evening.
We're going to die! We're all going to die!
Nobody's going to die, Timothy, as long as we behave sensibly, act intelligently, and keep calm.
Mr. Brittas.
Not now, Colin.
She's all right. She's perfectly all right.
What are you talking about, Colin?
Your wife. I've just found her unconscious on the floor of the ladies.
Easy with my little lady. Right. Gently. There we go. Right, Lindy, you know what to do.
Yes, Mr. Brittas. Is she badly hurt?
Right, let's find out, Laura.
Not now, Gordon. I'm too tired.
Helen, are you all right?
What?
What did he do to you, my darling?
He took my pills.
Did he harm you in any way?
I said he took my pills. There were 14 in that bag.
All right, my love, all
It's not
right.
all right, Gordon. He's eaten them all.
Can you describe him?
And Jonathan doesn't have another chemistry lesson till Thursday.
Look, my sweet, I know you've just been through a dreadful experience, but try and think, what was he wearing?
He wasn't wearing anything.
What, nothing? Not even underpants?
Don't be stupid, Gordon. Why on earth would an ostrich be wearing underpants?
What?
I said, why would he be wearing underpants?
An ostrich? You were attacked by an ostrich?
I keep telling you, I wasn't attacked. He just took my bloody pills.
Right, now, before you go, just a reminder, I do not want any heroics. If you find the bird, do not approach it under any circumstances, but report back to my office, all right?
We are quite sure, are we, Mr. Brittas?
What?
Well, that Mrs. Brittas did actually see an ostrich.
You think she imagined it or something, Gavin?
No, absolutely not. No.
Only she did have the place evacuated on New Year's Eve because of a giant millipede.
That was a simple misunderstanding, Timothy.
Well, didn't you claim it was trying to have sex with her?
My wife was on a hay fever remedy with unfortunate side effects, Julie. This time...
It's definitely an ostrich, Gavin.
Thank you, Colin.
I've been examining this sample. I took this from a pile on the second floor.
Colin.
I should have recognised it earlier, but it was only when I examined it closely.
Colin. We'll talk about it later, all right? To your search areas, please, everyone. And remember, if you see or hear the bird, report back to the office. And if the tabloid press get to hear about this, Julie, I'll know who's responsible.
It came from the safari park. It disappeared sometime last night. It's actually an emu.
Right. What are they going to do about it?
They'll have a man round here by 5 o'clock.
5?
Well, they've only got one van and it's delivering a panda to Swindon.
What are we supposed to do till then?
I didn't actually know. Unfortunately, their flightless bird expert is away on a day conference. Their seal and walrus man suggested that we put a rope around it.
Why did it have to come here?
Did you know that the safari park runs alongside the army camp?
The army camp? The army camp?
The Paras are not the wisest people to have offended, Mr. Brittas. Their colonel was pretty upset.
You think they did it on purpose?
Yeah. I think you're lucky they only went for a practical joke.
A joke? We have an ostrich loose in a leisure centre and they call it a joke?
Yes? They found it. Come on!
He's in the end cubicle, Mr. Brittas.
I think he probably scented water.
I can't see anything.
Well, he's got his head stuck in a fire bucket. It's probably the only sand he could find.
I have one idea.
I don't want to hear your ideas, Connie.
Wouldn't the safest thing be just to leave it in there?
I'm not having an ostrich in my disabled toilet, Laura. I want that bird out now.
My idea, Mr. Brittas.
I've warned you, Colin.
I think we should keep our voices down, Mr. Brittas.
It can't get out of there, can it?
Well, 14 of Helen's pills, it can probably fly. Ready when you are, Mr. Brittas.
Right. Thank you, Linda. He's all yours.
Just show me where he is, Mr. Brittas.
Over there, in that one.
Go on, kill it. I'm sorry, Mr. Brittas. I can't.
But you said downstairs anyone who lays a finger on a bishop deserves to have their brains splattered. There's a wall, get splattering.
But it's an animal.
Yes.
When you said you'd found out who was doing all the damage, I thought you meant a person. I said shoot a person. I'm sorry. I just can't shoot an ostrich.
Are you sure you wouldn't like to hear my idea now, Mr. Brittas?
What is it, Colin?
These muscle relaxants I've been taking are very powerful.
Yes, Colin?
Now, I thought if we gave the ostrich a handful...
You think I'm going to persuade an ostrich to swallow your pills?
Well, they're not exactly pills, Mr. Brittas, they're suppositories.
Go away.
All you have to do is... out of this bamboo paw.
I said go away, Colin. Give me the rope, Gavin. Right. This is what will happen. I will open the toilet door, tie the rope round the bird's neck and lead it out. You, Colin, will go ahead, clearing the way, and then you will help me tether the bird to the bicycle rack outside, where we will await representatives from the safari park. Now, just in case this bird attempts any form of resistance, the rest of you should retreat to a place of safety. boy, then? Colin, help me! Help! Colin, help! Over there, please. Anyone who came in contact with the beak over there for inoculation. Pam, you're quite sure, are you?
What?
About not going on with the broadcast. It's just I'm sure we could find another organist, and if push comes to shove, I could probably play myself.
Can we go now, please?
Well, when you're feeling better and you want to arrange another date, just give me a call, all right? Here, present for you. A little memento to help you remember your visit. I've signed it. For Pat. Sorry you got a bit pecked. You take it easy now. The last of the ambulances has gone, Laura.
Good.
I thought we were quite lucky, really. Could have been a lot worse.
54 serious injuries, it seemed bad enough.
Funny, isn't it?
Funny?
How things turn out, Laura. You know, I've spent the last 8 months thinking of nothing but coming back to this place, managing my centre again. And now...
What?
Well, I know it's a terrible thing to say, Laura, but now it's actually happened, it all seems a bit samey, you know?
Samey?
Like I've done it all before. I'm not saying I'm not glad to be back, Laura. This is the best job in the world, and I'll probably still be doing it in 20 years' time.
20 years.
But it's just... I've always wondered if perhaps there isn't something more. You know, paint on a broader canvas. Still, shouldn't worry you with my troubles, Laura.
No. No. Would you, just excuse me a minute? I've, left him somewhere.
Builders. European Commissioner!
Did you call me?
Laura, I've just had the most extraordinary idea.